Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Growing My Grandpa. What happens if I turn? A hastily written note. For the sake of university policy and the health of any future career you hope to have, you will abide by the non-disclosure contract you have signed. Do not break the anthropoidic vacuum without prior consultation and approval. Any anthropoidic forms brought into the enclosure area must not be left unattended. When not in dormancy, the sample will attempt to take anthropoidic shells. Please see shell notes for more on that. The sample's exposure to some of our neuronal activity is unavoidable. However, the speed at which its desirous yield is produced can be dampened by several precautions regarding libidinal and emotional urges. Keep conversation not related to lab work to a minimum. If you begin to suspect you are developing attachments to your colleagues, contact me as soon as possible. Ritual behavior with the sample, trading and bargaining, will result in dismissal from the project. The precise mechanism of the exchange of symbols and gifts required for a requested desirous yield is not yet known, and even then, anecdotal accounts of success are illegible. End in violent death. Oh, this one can't possibly be any worse. Regarding growth cycles. Every time Whiskers regenerates and leaves dormancy, it is to be logged as a new propagation. The sample's bodily existence cannot be illegible, i.e. a part cannot be cut from the whole, so there can only be one living propagation. Propagations are to be terminated after 5 weeks. Any further development puts us at risk. Termination procedures will be posted and followed with extreme care. With all of that out of the way, I want to welcome you to the project. I look forward to working with you, Dr. Hart. Dr. Hart, if you know what I mean. Beyond the door, in the room, the cage was hidden, concealed in another cloak of inward-facing mirrors. I hate that. A hidden cage lined with mirrors. It is strange, almost poetic. The elaborate fantasy of self-reflection, concealment, captivity. Do I have to touch the tarp?
Yes.
At the cage, she finally cast her spell. But it was confusing, she confided. At first. She took the magic doll, the magic glue, and the photo of her grandpa. And she combined them, and she wished very hard. I can only assume in this fantasy that next, her wish would come true. In which child's story would it not? I don't know. It's probably going to be the story it doesn't.
Oh, it's definitely the story where it doesn't.
Is this where we start to build Grandpa? I think we use his face. Oh, we do both. I don't fucking like that. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. I don't like that at all. That's gonna be my thumbnail. She put Grandpa in the cage, assuming that was part of the ritual. She was not clear on how it worked. What precise instructions she could glean from her grandfather's magic book was complicated by her reading comprehension. You read better, dumbass. She wished with all her heart, and then she told me she waited a while for something, anything to happen, and after that time, she began to cry. Like a little bit. No, I cried really hard, she said. I wanted Grandpa to be back. I wanted my parents to stop being so mean. And it hurt me. It heard me wish for Grandpa to come back, for my parents to be different. I could feel it through the walls, and it felt me through the air. The wish?
The wish filter through the air, yes.
I don't like that. I don't like any of this. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she saw. Fucking me. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she said. By this time, lunch was almost over. I said goodbye to Adrian. She left to rejoin her class. I was left to consider our conversation. I believe the storytelling strategy I've employed was not unfruitful, but I must probe deeper, if I can. Although I can be sure of nothing I interpret, the impressions I get may begin to help me get an idea of the right questions to ask. Knowledge you acquired this week has been given to you access to certain topics or keywords you can discuss with Grandpa. I don't. What the fuck? Consider discussing this when Grandpa emerges. You have also gained the following keyword. Shell.
Okay then.
I met again with Adrian in order to address her emotional outbursts in the past few weeks. It was her second time meeting, and while it is standard practice to have multiple sessions with a troubled student, as I assemble a report for the counseling department, I could not help but think, as we sat down in my office, that Adrian already seemed to show a remarkable change in self-esteem and confidence. And perhaps my and Mrs. Richardson's estimation of her as emotionally disturbed was erroneous. The paralyzing shyness and withdrawn attitude Adrian possessed last week was not entirely diminished, but she seemed to hold herself differently this week. However, this only lasted as long as our conversation pertained to initial introductory pleasantries. When I began once again asking about her parents, her feelings regarding her new school and her new home, she quickly lost what new confidence she had gathered up and withdrew again into herself. So once again, I partook in some collaborative make-believe, but this time I was aided by the fact that I had managed to do some research into Adrian's grandfather, and I had some insight and went into what she might actually be finding in the basement. Now this may be overstepping my bounds some as a school counseling caseworker, but this was all in the service of making Adrian comfortable and happy in this learning environment. In any case, I was able to dig up information regarding the grandfather by inquiring at the university in town. Not that I make it a habit of sleuthing, but I had a suspicion the grandfather was a professor there, or at least some sort of researcher, due to the fact that the newly constructed laboratory on the campus I drive by every day bears his name in a memorial. He was some sort of anthropologist or linguist, or neuroscientist? I did not have to dig that deep before the scope of his work became dizzying, and I ran up against the limits of my undergraduate education. But back to the make-believe. The real question is, what is your grandpa like? Is he a smart man? Not anymore, but I'm teaching him. So he's grown a good deal then. You have been feeding him well. Yeah, he's getting bigger, but he has a lot of room in his cage. He's still behind the bars? Yeah, well, he might be able to climb out eventually. There's this vent in the ceiling. Dude, how tall is this motherfucker gonna get? Well, perhaps if he climbs out, I could meet him someday. This is all a ruse just to, meet this, little girl's grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but he's not ready to leave. He can't take care of himself. I have to feed him, pick up after him. Ah, you store the food in your lunchbox. That's nice of you to share. He can almost talk. You cannot speak with him? He doesn't have a mouth. Sort of. It's just a fucking asshole. But how do you feed him? This is gonna be such a bitch to edit. He has a mouth on the outside, on his shell, or the stuff that is his skin. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can go through a typical day with your grandpa. Like this. Okay. I asked her to explain how exactly she goes about growing her grandpa, and Adrian began another tale. According to Adrian, in the week that had passed, much had changed in the basement. To be continued.